Hey, everybody. Good morning on this December 29th, 2019. And we are about 3 days away from the new year. And it's the last Sunday of 2019. I remember when I used to be a pastor and was preaching every week. We always had great expectation for the last Sunday of the year. The Lord had brought us to another ending, and we were sort of looking back over how the Lord had brought us, and then we were looking ahead to the new year, and so some of that is still with me. However, I'm coming on today to share with you because we're actually in a new month, Hebraic, on the Hebraic calendar, which is God's calendar. However, the Hebraic calendar is God's calendar. It's not the dominant calendar. We are dominated by the Gregorian calendar, which on the Gregorian calendar today is Sunday, December the 29th, right? But for those of us who are prophetic and we're interested in the time and seasons of God, we want to also keep an eye on the Hebrew calendar. And so one of the things I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to get the Hebraic calendar and put it up somewhere in my house because I look at it. I look at it online. I look at the calendar online just to kind of keep up with the first day of the month. You know, when is the month coming in? When is the Hebrew month coming in? Unfortunately, I got a notice from one of our partners, ministry partners in Watching on Walls, and she, matter of fact, she stated that today was the first day of the 10th month, which is also known as the month Tevet. And usually we have a intercessors team within the ministry of Watching on Walls, and we meet monthly, and we try to meet as close to the beginning of the Hebrew month as we can. So normally we would have been meeting today, but our meeting will be next week, which kind of keeps us close to the beginning of the month. All right, so one of the things I was really glad to do was to come on, make this video, and try to get it to as many people as I can. All right, and so this video speaks to what we should be looking for the month ahead. So I want to really challenge you to pay attention to what I'm saying. You know, write notes if it speaks to you. Share this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and then become a part of our mailing list. You can go to our website and join our mailing list. I actually started writing the prophetic perspective for 2020 Friday night, and I'm trying to get it done by tomorrow. Not sure if I can, but my vacation ends. Today is the last day of my vacation, so I'll be going back to work tomorrow night. So I'm trying to get that prophetic forecast done so I can get it in your hands before January 1. However, we're already in the year 5780. So again, on the Hebraic calendar, the new year started in September 5780. Also, it corresponds with Rosh Hashanah, which is the head of the year. That is one of the beginnings on the Jewish calendar. There's actually two beginnings. There's Rosh Hashanah, and the Jewish culture believe that Rosh Hashanah is the head of the year. It's the year where you initiate contracts and alliances, and it's the year where you start, fiscally. Many businesses start their calendar for the year, and even some of our businesses. I don't think they're following Rosh Hashanah, but a lot of businesses in the United States and in other nations, they start their fiscal year around the time of September and October. So that corresponds with Rosh Hashanah. So that is the that is the natural new year on the Hebraic calendar, and then they have a spiritual new year, which starts in the spring during the month of Nisan. And Nisan is actually the month where God delivered Israel from Egypt. And he told Moses that when they were coming out of Egypt, that this would be the beginning of months. So during the spiritual new year, Israel starts to count their months. So this is why we are now in the month Tevet, which is the 10th month, because we're counting the month from Nisan to now, which is 10 months. So on the spiritual calendar, we have 2 months left before Nisan comes back, and it's the beginning of the spiritual new year on the Hebrew calendar. Now, on the Gregorian calendar, which is the calendar most of us follow, the new year starts on January the 1st, which is 3 days from today. Okay, so what does this month represent? And that's what I'm going to speak about. I'm going to speak about the month Tevet, which is also linked to the month January. Okay, and so Tevet is the 10th month. All right, and the number 10, of course, the number 10 is the number of testimony. So this is a month to develop your testimony. It's also a month to share your testimony. So we want to start praying for the Lord to give us an opportunity to share our testimony. Okay? And our testimony is actually a record of our experiences in life, our experiences with God, and our experiences of overcoming. Many of you are called to write your testimony in a book. Many of you are called to write a book about your life. That's your testimony. And your testimony is going to help others to break through, to overcome, to be encouraged, and it will even encourage others to write their own testimonies. Okay, so this is the 10th month, is the month of testimony, and it's also 10 is the number of order. So this is a month where God is calling us to order in our life. He's calling us to develop our testimony, and he's also calling us to order. Okay. Now, each Hebrew month is associated with a Hebrew letter, and the month Tevet is connected to the Hebrew letter Ayin, and the letter Ayin, the Hebrew letter Ayin, is the letter for it's the letter that looks like an eye, and it means to see. Okay, so this is a month to see. Now, interestingly enough, we are coming out of the Ayin decade. Okay, again, if you're on the Hebrew calendar, we left the Ayin decade when we entered into 5780, which is the decade of the mouth. But then on the Gregorian calendar, we're coming out of 2019, which is the last year of the Ayin decade, and we're coming into 2020. And there's all kind of prophecies about seeing and vision and all of that. But this is the month where we are called to see. Okay, so even though we have left the Ayin decade, we still have to function by seeing. We have to see. This is a month where the Lord wants us to see. All right. By seeing, then we come to know. All right. So we know by seeing. If we don't see something, we don't know. All right. And then And then as we come to know a thing, then we come into understanding. And then by understanding, we make a decision to obey. So it is a month to see. So you want to see in the spirit what is happening in the world and in the earth and in your life and in your family, your business. You want to see in the spirit. You want to see prophetically. All right. So I would say begin to pray that the Lord will open your eyes to see, and not just see things in a natural sense, but this is a month to see in a spiritual sense. If you see in the spiritual sense, you will keep moving with God. And then because we are now in the decade of the mouth, the 80s decade, uh, the uh, the the number 80 is linked to the Hebrew letter pay. It is a month for us to say what we're saying. So this is a month of confession, okay? And um, and so what you see in the spirit, you are then to confess out of your mouth, so that what you're seeing will become a reality, or it will manifest in the earth. All right. And so this is also a month where we want to be aware of making wrong alignments, all right, because it's the new year on the Gregorian calendar. Many of us will have opportunities to make alignments or new alignments, or many of us will enter into alignments that we once had. But be aware of wrong alignments. And let me give you a testimony. Since it's the month of testimony, a couple of years ago, I was really seeking to be certified as a life coach, and I wanted the certification. Ooh, excuse me. I did sleep well last night. I don't know why I'm yawning. But I was looking for certification as a life coach, and I found a school and found a person who was certifying coaches. The program was a bit expensive, which really means it was valuable, because anything that costs usually brings a great measure of value with it. And so I looked at my budget, and I considered, how I was going to pay for it in the time frame, and I was able to successfully budget the money that would enable me to pay for the program and finish it and get the certification. But it was in the month of January that year that I discovered that it wasn't the right alignment for me. And when I call it a wrong alignment, it has nothing to do with sin. The gentleman was a man of integrity, spirit filled man. It was a great school, but it wasn't for me. And so thus it was the wrong alignment. So I had to end my alignment with the school, and then I started having, because after I ended it, uh, they had some kind of glitch in their program, so they kept charging me once I was out of the school, but they kept charging me, so I had to deal with that. That became a pain for about 2 months. I had to deal with correcting that and getting that right. And so I'm sharing that with you because you want to be careful about wrong alignments. Okay, entering into wrong alignments. I can think of another January, but I'm not even going to speak to that. But I made a decision that brought me into a wrong alignment over 20 years ago, and it was devastating to my life, devastating to my family, to my ministry, and all of that. So beware of wrong alignments. Wrong alignments are not always about sin. Many times it's just that you are aligning with a person that just is not right for you. Okay, and so thus you'll get out of order. All right. This is also the month that begins the fourth season, which is the season of winter. Now winter's already started, I think maybe about 10 days ago, but this is the month of winter. So winter is actually the season of rest, review, and planning, okay? Because the word winter literally means the harvest is gathered. So winter follows the harvest season, which is the fall, and the harvest has now been gathered, and so now there's no work. And so in agriculture, most farmers didn't work during the winter time. They were seasonal workers, and so they would work the three seasons: spring, summer, and fall. But then winter would be a season of rest. All right. Now, I'm not telling you not to work, but we have to work. But this is still a season uh, to review, to take a look back over your year, to look at your successes and your failures, to look at your troubles and your triumphs. So it's a year to review, and then it's a year. Then it's well, not a year. It's a season to plan. Okay, it's also a season of rest. Everything in nature uh, goes into rest during the winter season. So now everything, of course, this is not true where I live. I'm in South Carolina, but there's a lot of things around the world. If there's winter, there are many things of nature are now in hibernation because they have entered into rest. So and one of the effects of the winter is that the days get shorter and the nights get longer, and so that really means that we're supposed to be getting more rest during the winter season. So this is a season to rest. It's a season it's a month. Although I'm saying season because a season is usually 3 months, but this is a month for you to rest, review, and then plan for the next season. All right. Now, I want to read you something because one of the books that I use to review the year, to look back over the year, and then to look forward to the year is the book A Time to Advance by Apostle Chuck Pierce, and so he actually has a blueprint of the months in this book. But this is something I wanted to share with you. He wrote this regarding the month Tevet, and he says, this is on page 313, and I'm quoting from the book of Time to Advance. Tevet is associated with the Hebrew month, with the Hebrew letter Ayin, which pictures an eye. This is a month to let your good eye see. Getting focus is very important as you war against the evil eye and break the power of evil watchers. If you do not break the power of the evil eye this month, this power will try to guide you in the future. We must understand the evil eye structure, which is embedded in our culture and causes dark angels and evil structures to manipulate us. I've always felt that if we gather together at this time to start the year off right, we participate with angelic visitation to guide us into our culture with the revelation that we have amassed through the year to press us through. Okay, so I just wanted to share that. So this is a month for us to, from what Apostle Chuck says, this is a month for us to see with the good eye. All right, this is a month to, and it's a month to break the power of the evil eye. And I'm not going to get into that, but I thought that was great instructions for the month Tevet. Okay, this is also a month for artists and creatives to come forth. All right. So if you are an artist, if you are a writer, if you operate in arts and entertainment, then this is a month for you to come forward. There's a month to create. It's a month to present. It's a month to make yourself aware and bring forth your art, which is an expression of the goodness and the creative heart and the nature of God. Okay. Um, this is also a month where you want to come into agreement with the prophetic words over your life. I got a prophetic word last night from a prophet, and matter of fact, she gave me two prophetic words, and one prophetic word actually aligned with the word that I had given. I posted it on Facebook page, Watching on Walls page, and it was talking about cycles. The Lord has really been speaking to me last week about cycles, and so then she came, this prophet, she came and gave a word on cycles that I'm going to add to the word I gave, and then she gave me a personal word, which really, uh, I was kind of getting into a place where I was losing my expectation for a thing that I had heard God been speaking over my life this year, and then the word she gave me actually reignited that word. And so I'm thankful to the Lord for that. So pay attention, take heed to the prophetic words that are being spoken. Matter of fact, you should be writing those, you should be recording those words, you should be writing those words, you should be praying over them. I was with one of the Watchman on the Wall partners yesterday, and we was having what I call an incubation session as we were as I was helping her to kind of get some things together for the ministry that God had given to her. And she shared with me a prophetic word that she had received from my mentor. And in that prophetic word, I saw a whole blueprint. The Lord had not just given her a word, but He had actually given her a blueprint and had given her strategies on how He wanted her to prosper. So, so those prophetic words could be, I mean, there may be a business in that word for you. There may be a project that's going to change your life. That's going to uh, bring forth favor and influence in your life. So pay attention to those prophetic words, okay? And review them and read them and pray over them and then prophesy them over your life, okay? And then this is also a month to get aligned with God's testimony as you are developing your testimony. You want to get aligned with God's testimony. And basically, what I'm saying is this is a month to get in the Word. This is a month to get in the Word. I've been doing a lot of word study over the last couple of weeks, and today I was reviewing a passage that has meant a great deal to me from Ephesians 5. Redeem the time, for the days are evil. Be not unwise, but understand what is the will of God. And I mean, that's been like one of the key scriptures in my life. I've kind of guided my life over the last 40 years from that passage. And so I was reviewing it, and I was just really aligning my testimony with God's testimony, His word, and purpose that I am going to redeem the time that He has given me, and I'm going to buy back the time um, that because that word time actually means chronos, and I'm trying not to teach on it, but it's so powerful. And chronos means an opportunity. It also means a crisis. I think it's in the Japanese language, the word crisis actually means opportunity. So when the Japanese get into a crisis, they look for an opportunity. And so many times, when I'm looking at crisis in people's lives and even in my own life, God begins to show me the opportunity, and he shows me how he wants me to redeem the opportunity from the crisis. Most of the ministry that I do, most of the courses that I develop, they were all birthed out of God showing me the crisis that people are in. All right, and so if you're in a crisis, you need to look for the opportunity. You need to redeem, which means to buy back or to use for personal use. Okay, how can I turn this crisis into an opportunity, and how can I bring it out of the evil days? Because the days are evil. We live in an evil world. Bad things are happening all the time. But in the midst of that, even in the midst of trials and troubles and disease, there is always an opportunity to do good. All right. So this is what the month Tevet is looking at. Uh, Lastly, I want to say that this is a month of warfare because it is the month in the historical calendar. In the 10th month, Nebuchadnezzar and the Babylonian army came against Jerusalem. So Babylon means confusion. Babylon prophetically represents the world, the earth, and everything in the earth that has been judged, and it is confusion. And so this is a month to not be overtaken by the confusion of the world, the confusion in your nation, the confusion in your family. This is the month not to be overtaken, but this is a month to stand in peace. That's what Jerusalem means. Babylon confusion is coming against Jerusalem in this month. But for those who, God is giving you His peace, and that means that you can stand in Jerusalem and not be overtaken by Babylon. Just stay in peace. Stay in the peace of God. Okay? Stay in the shalom of God. That basically means to agree with what God is saying. Don't agree with what you're seeing in the natural. And this is why we have to see in the spirit. We have to see prophetically, because when you see a thing prophetically, you begin to see it the way God sees it. All right, and then begin to see with your good eye, which represents Jerusalem, and not the evil eye, which represents Babylon. All right, so God bless you. I'm looking forward to the new year with you. I want to thank you for supporting us in 2019, and even while we were away. Thank you for visiting our videos. Thank you for reaching out to us. I've met so many of you through one-on-one coaching and in the coaching group sessions that I've had, and then you joining our mailing list and reaching out to me. And I've had the opportunity to pray for so many of you. Many of you have given into the ministry, Watching on Walls. I want to thank you, and I'm just looking forward to your spiritual elevation and the expanse of your influence and the manifestation of your dreams coming forth in 2020. Shalom. God bless you.